let's start with this. When you first picked up this job a couple years ago after Brady left, did you have a timetable for how long you would be here and how long you would keep that job?
No, I didn't have a timetable then. I don't have a timetable now. I just you keep doing what you love to do for as long as you're allowed to, or as long as you're physically able to. So I feel very fortunate that I get to do it for a few more years.
And I know, though, when you came here, your idea was that you were going to be coordinating for Brady for a good amount of time, and then suddenly you became the guy to take a torch that necessarily wasn't supposed to be handed to you, not because you weren't skilled, but because it just wasn't supposed to be that way. So do you almost look at it now and say, me, I didn't think I was going to have another head coaching career, but golly, while I've got it, I'm going to take this torch and run with it as far as possible?
Well, like you said, when I got here, I didn't think I'd ever be a head coach again. And because of the circumstances, the opportunity arose. And at the time, it seemed like the better opportunity was to stay here than to go with Brady. And so far, it's worked out well that way. And like I said, I feel really fortunate I have a job, number one. And it's something I like to do. That's pretty good, too. And I have a contract to do it for a few more years, so it's a pretty good day.
Coach, any financial extension as well? Did you get a raise?
No, I didn't get a raise.
So it's the same.
And I didn't ask for one either.
I would say that's unusual. Would you say that's unusual in this business now?
I don't know. I feel very comfortable with my situation, so why change it?
How about for the assistants? Is there any talk of raising the assistant coaches?
The assistant coaches are getting a raise, yes.
Maybe you can tell them that you gave them your raise. You think that'll?
Well, I could tell them that, but I'd be lying. So, no, I thought that Jim Sturk was very, very kind to give them raises. In the economic climate that we're in, and in the California state system that we're in, I thought that our assistant coaches are not paid very well compared to most college staffs, and his willingness to give them a raise was, I thought, really nice on his part.
How has this university and your program grown in the last 2 years since you took handles?
I think it's grown in a lot of areas. I think that we're able to recruit better now than we were 4 years ago. I think the players coming into the program realize how our programs run. So we lose some players along the way once they find out how hard our players work and how our players do things. But I think it translates on the field. If you can recruit pretty good athletes and they'll work hard, guess what? You can win some games.
But you always talk about how you had sort of like a 5-year plan for this program. Now that you're going to be here definitively more than 5 years, does that plan change in any way, or do you add anything to the plan that you didn't have there before?
Well, the plan, the 5-year plan was to be within 5 years to be in a couple of bowl games and win a conference championship. So I guess we're 1 year ahead of the plan. So now the plan is to try to move to the elite level, try to be a top 25 team like our basketball teams are. And then maybe if we can have one of those really good football teams that get lucky along the way where you can win enough games to maybe even be in a bigger bowl game, that'd be nice.
What do you think it'll take to get from where you are now to that level? Like in terms of the infrastructure and the framework that you need to be able to put that product in the field?
Well, I think you have to continue to recruit and improve your talent level. We have some really good football players, but there are some weaknesses in our team. I'm not going to discuss them, but where the talent level through recruiting could improve so that you match up better when you play the better teams on your schedule, that you have some right now we have some matchup problems when we play certain teams. And if you can improve your talent level and you can keep pretty much your coaching staff together and the same philosophy and doing things the same way, and the kids respond like they should, you have a chance to be a very special football team or a special football program eventually. I think it takes time to build one of those. I mean, our men's basketball team is an elite program right now, but guess what? I've gone back and looked at the first 6 years records when Coach Fisher was here. That didn't happen overnight. People sometimes forget that didn't happen overnight either now.
So do you think it could take 6 years?
I think it could take 10 years.
Do you plan
Now we've already been through 4 of them, so do I plan on I plan on coaching as long as someone lets me coach and I can physically do it.
How important was it for you to keep your assistant coaching staff pretty much intact this offseason?
I think that it's really important. And like I already said, that I think we all feel very fortunate that we're coaching here, and it's a great place to live, and it's a nice place to recruit to and all that. But our coaches don't get paid very much when you compare us to the rest of the country. Our assistant coaches don't. I mean, Andy Ludwig got a $250,000 raise to go to Wisconsin. I mean, you can't, even if you wanted to stay here, you can't turn something like that down. So I think that our coaches staying here and keeping the coach, that might be our biggest challenge, to build into the program to where we want it to be. I mean, I'm not interested in moving any place, but most of our coaches are interested in getting more responsibility or a pay raise along the way. So keeping a coaching staff together is probably the most difficult thing in building this program.
Last time that I talked to you up here, you said it was 50-50 for where your football team would end up in the seasons to come. Now that it's all said and done, did you think that you were staying where you were staying? Did you think you were going?
I guess I don't understand. Did I think we're...
Did you think at the end of the day that you were going to stay in the Mountain West, that you were going to...
I got you now. I didn't know. You guys knew more than I did about it. I mean, what I heard and I read, that's all I knew about what was going on. There were some advantages early on. There were some real advantages of maybe going to the Big East, especially financially. But as things dramatically changed over the course of time, it didn't seem like near as good a deal to go to the Big East. And I think you always end up where you're supposed to be. And I've always thought, and I think I even said this when we were talking about going to the Big East, because someone asked me about the competition level, and I said it's exactly the same. Maybe the Mountain West Conference is better, and I still believe that. Now, because of population centers, the Big East might get more notoriety and they might get covered better, but their football is no better than the Mountain West Conference football is, and it never has been. So our competition level hasn't changed. In fact, with the addition of a couple of teams made in the Mountain West Conference, has gotten to be a better football team, better football program.
And Rocky, speaking of recruiting, how significant was this contract extension for recruiting? I mean, especially with the underclassmen that you guys are looking at.
That's the most fortunate. I feel the most fortunate because of that. When you and we're doing this, as you expand your recruiting and expand your recruiting areas, and you compete against a lot of people we're competing a lot more against, I don't know how to say this, bigger name schools. We're competing a lot more against them than we did in the past. Well, when you're competing against those guys, everything comes into focus. I mean, there were several of our recruits said, how long is Coach Long going to be there? He's only got 3 years left on his contract. I mean, I don't even know. I don't tell anybody that. I don't know how those guys find that stuff out. But, they'll use anything they can to their advantage. So it helps recruiting more than it actually helps me.